to finish up, probably the most famous quote on strategy was Peter Drucker when he said that culture eats strategy for breakfast, meaning that even the best strategies fail if the company's culture isn't aligned to it. How do you see the role of company culture in relation to strategy? And once you've got your unique value and you've worked out that piece, how do you get the company behind it from a cultural point of view? Because you've said that everything then leads to that unique value piece.
Well, I suppose I've always interpreted that quote as basically being another way of saying, if you have a strategy but nobody actually actions it, then obviously it's going to do nothing, which is clear. And obviously culture effectively drives action and this sort of like sense of positive momentum and innovation and can-do attitude and all the stuff that you need to make a strategy work. So it's definitely true that, you know, a business that just has this positive, innovative, action-oriented, together mindset with no strategy is going to do better than the alternative, because they're basically just going to go out there and they're going to do a whole bunch of shit, and some of that stuff is going to work and they'll grow, whereas the company that doesn't do anything is just going to do nothing, and so therefore obviously nothing's going to happen. So that is for sure true. But yes, where you sort of flip it is that strategy can and should shape culture, because going back to the Sinek why stuff, it should give people something to align behind. And this is why it's so important, and this is something that the traditional strategy world really misses, in my view, is that a strategy's job is 50% to tell you what to do, you know, to have a clever idea, and it's 50% to motivate you to do it, which means that it has to be compelling, sexy, fun, mischievous, clear, has to have a story behind it, etc., etc. The right strategy without salesmanship is useless, because no one's going to do anything with it. So like these, you know, again, the Steve Jobses, the Elon Musks and all that of this world, you know, they are, you know, they don't just have, I mean, they have good ideas, but if you really drill their ideas down to the pure substance of the idea, they're not like, you know, they're not like so mind-blowing that you think, oh, that was always going to work. They're kind of, they are sort of ideas which kind of anyone could have had, but my God, they sell them and they get people on board and they get people excited about them. And that is all about the framing, the communication, the storytelling of the strategy, and making sure that the strategy has a bit of a sense of mischief behind it, which is why we're going back to my point about how you need to find the area where you disagree with people. One of the many reasons that's the right approach is that if your strategy is built on disagreement, it's inherently subversive and mischievous, and people enjoy that, and that makes it fun. You know, nobody's going to get excited by, you know, being rallied behind someone saying, we're going to do customer service even better than everyone else. It's like, that's just not interesting. But if a person gets up there and says, for too long, this industry has thought that customer service is important, but we're going to go out there and show you that actually, screw customer service, you can do this other thing instead, right? I mean, God knows what the alternative to customer service is, but you get my point. Like, which of those instantly is more compelling narrative? So without that narrative, you've got nothing. And that narrative is the thing that is basically going to build culture, because it's the thing that's going to make people think, well, like-minded people think, I want to be a part of that. And although it's another sort of controversial point, you get a lot of people talking about, you know, sort of, I mean, I think that now people have moved away from this, but this idea that kind of like organizations benefit from diversity. Now, I know that obviously when people say that, they normally mean like diversity of like race and gender and all the rest of it. But so, which isn't what I'm talking about here. But organizations don't benefit from diversity. Organizations benefit from being a group of people who all think exactly the bloody same thing. And that thing is the thing that the company thinks, and it's the thing that everyone wants to happen. So you want to bring together that group of like-minded people who all share that passion and are going to work together to drive it. You do not want to have a group of people who all kind of like value and think completely different things, because then you're going to have a very diffuse organization. So that strategy acts as the magnet for those people who are going to be kind of like your army, so to speak.
Yeah.